Mental Health Outreach is a faith-based organization designed to provide information and support while encouraging hope and faith to individuals who are living with the symptoms of a mental illness or long-term situation. You can find out more about us by logging on to our website at www.igbattmho.org. Now, last time we picked up, we were talking about African Americans, Christians, the church, and mental illness. And we were having a really good discussion here. Let's go back to the person, let's say, having a mental illness. Okay, you've had the crisis. You now know that there's a name for what you're going through. You know that these voices or the feeling, whether it's depression, bipolar, you now have a title, a label. Okay, you're starting that journey. Because once you find out what's going on, now you're starting, you have the medications, you're learning the things that you have to do to take care of yourself. And depending on your illness, because I can have schizophrenia, you can have schizophrenia, you can have schizophrenia, and all three of us
will be different.
Will be different. You know, I may be more severe than either of you are. So depending on the severity of the illness, it really will determine how I'm received around other people. So when having a mental illness, you go through the added stress. Having mental illness, for instance, doesn't take away from the fact that I'm still a mother, that I still have to go to school, that I still have a job, if I have a job. You know, it doesn't take away from the things that I still have to do. It just makes it harder. As a family member, you have a loved one with a mental illness. You still have to go to work. You still have things that you have to do. So when we talk about just the various things, take medicine, having to see a doctor or a psychiatrist, having to see a therapist, maybe not, and then your interaction with the church. And just like, you know, we as individuals have to learn to live with a mental illness, the people in the church have to as well. And I always tell people say, oh, the church. Well, we're the church. You know, what we're really talking about are the individual houses of prayer.
That's right.
So when a person, just say, have a mental illness, let's just say I'm hearing voices, I'm seeing things, I'm really severe. And I come to you wonderful pastors here, okay, how would you treat me? How do you think I should be treated? Okay, I'm here, I'm having mental illness, how should you treat me?
First and foremost, with love. Okay. Be willing to interact with you. Have you talk with me? So that, you know, find out what.
Don't be afraid.
Right.
Don't be afraid of that person.
Definitely can't be afraid.
If you, if you display that, what is severely mentally ill, as you say, schizophrenia.
I started to role play, so those of you wondering, what is she doing there? I was going to role play, but never mind. I won't let them.
No, don't do that. But anyway,
I was going to do that, but they wonder, what is she doing?
But sometimes I have come in contact with severely mentally disabled or schizophrenia, as you say, and they get in your space. You know, they tend to don't have a line of demarcation there, and some people who are considered normal would take aback, you know, and so that would also this person would steadily get closer, you know, get in your space, you know, and so I think, you know, first and foremost you have to, as you said, love them. In Christ's love. Some people you gotta love them just in Christ's love, you know, and pray for them. Pray that God give you the strength, you know, to be able to deal with it, you know, that situation.
And that definitely is a situation where, for someone who's never experienced anything at all with a mental ill person, is they need the wisdom of God to know how to deal with them, you know, because you may not deal with one of them the way you deal with the other person, and that's with anybody. That we need wisdom in interacting with people as a whole. We definitely need it when we're talking about dealing with someone with a mental illness. You have to make them feel also, not just, how should I put this? When I say show them love, because I can act like I love you, okay, but I'm talking about genuine love to this person, you know, that and my mind goes back to one dear friend that we had that was bipolar, and she had her stages, okay, but as a whole she was a very sweet person, okay, and other people were apprehensive. You gonna give her a ride? You gonna, yeah.
And why were they apprehensive?
Because sometimes she would have her stages, okay, where she go, they were afraid of her going off.
Right, and
It's
because
not like
with
it.
her, she wasn't taking her medications, and her symptoms were very prominent, so that's what they were afraid of, just so people will know.
Right.
Because when you look at having a mental illness, there are a lot of people who may have the symptoms of major depression are different from the symptoms of schizophrenia or bipolar if a person in their manic stage, depending on what's going on.
Right.
So what's the symptoms? So we're talking about how do we, you're saying this, how to deal with the symptoms of having this person being in your space. Yeah.
And, I said that because I was one of those people, first of all, I didn't want you to touch me. Definitely not, don't get in my space, And like I said, I'd had those experiences, That's just close enough, but I think because sometimes mentally ill people are so genuine, they're different from other people that have let society dictate to them how they should act. But sometimes with severely mentally ill
They're just
people,
gonna be themselves.
they're gonna be themselves. They don't know they don't know what the protocol is.
Yes, no boundaries. Yeah.
No boundaries. So then they just, we had a neighbor just recently that and he's challenged, to say he's challenged. I wouldn't say so severely so, but he does the same. He gets in your space, and and everybody's a man. He says man this and man the other, and some people in our neighborhood get offended because they say, well, I'm a female. Why does he keep saying that? But maybe he doesn't remember your name. That's just the way he relates to you, and he becomes upset when people. So that's why I say don't do it. When people, step back from it, he says, you don't like me no more, man, that kind of thing, And he's a sweet guy.
So it's to deal with the rejection.
Yeah, he has to do on top of it. Yes.
And I'm sorry, I cut you off because you were getting ready to say something about knowing how to deal with the right person and having the love for the individual. You were talking about the friends. Okay,
yeah, and there were times when she would just be talk. Okay, that definitely took some patience. Okay, but then there were other times when she's on her meds, very calm, very quiet. Okay, and I remember having one incident. She was in a car. She was furious that day about some things, and she carried on. Before I know it, I said, "Let me tell you something," and I hollered at her, and she said, "You never talked to me like that before." Her feelings was hurt. Okay, she said, "I love you." I said, "Right now you're not on your meds. I want you on your meds. I don't know what you would do," and it impacted her.
Right, you were on.
It wasn't right. Basically, most folks didn't know about her. They wouldn't, ignored her, wouldn't give her a ride, or whatever. And that particular day probably was one of the days I might have needed somebody.
But I think that was good because let me ask you a question. If somebody were dying on the street, you wouldn't pass by without not calling 911. Right? And that's what happens when you see someone who is, you look at them and you can tell, man, there's something that's going on with them mentally. When we don't help, that's really what we're doing. I want you to think about that. You're actually walking by someone who's dying on the street. Because do you think a person in their right mind would want to? I was coming down driving yesterday, and the police came in front of me, and I looked. I was driving. There was this man who was completely naked, okay, and people were laughing or whatever. If he was in his right mind, or was on his medications, do you think he would want to walk around like that? No, he wouldn't want to walk around like that. Do you think people would want to really? They know that something is wrong, but they don't know how to fix it. And if we can be a help to that person to say, maybe you need to take your medications, or maybe I'll go with you. Let's go down together. Let's talk about it. Let's see what's going on, and be honest with that person. We can really be a help to that person, as opposed to, look, I don't want to be bothered with them. I don't want to deal with that individual.
One thing that I knew that stuck with her was she said to us before she passed, she thanked us, Sister Arnett and myself, for being friends. To her, she said, "You were always the same with me," and she really appreciated that.